What's good in the head, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hey, what's up babes? I'm Kay, and if you've been here before, thank you so much for stopping back by. So today is a pretty cool day because I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup basics or tips for all of my beginners. I know that a lot of you guys aren't deep in the game yet, so I just wanted to make a video where I give you guys tips. So I just decided, you know what, it's so much better if somebody just shows you how you do everything from top to bottom. So I'm here. So let's get started. I'm going to do things the barest basic, like I'm literally going flat from the bottom, and I don't want to do too many crazy things. So if you're interested, do keep on watching, and if you liked it, do like the video down below, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and follow me on Instagram. It's Republik everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. So yeah, so let's get started, you guys. So I'm gonna get started with the primer. If you're oily, this is perfect for you, but if you've got dry skin, you really don't need to buy a primer. I will do a separate video where I show you guys affordable makeup that you can go and purchase, but I'm going to be using my normal stuff. So I talked about this on my channel before. Sometimes I do go in with pure glycerin because I actually sometimes need this just for a little extra moisture because of how dry I can get. But if you just got normal skin, nothing really is the issue, then a primer is not necessarily a thing. I know I went without primer for the first 4 years of using makeup. So a primer is basically something you put on your skin that helps your foundation last all day. It is sticky, and that's what you need for your foundation to stick or last all day. Some primers have really good properties in them that help your skin and help your base. Some of them moisturize, some of them control shine. There's a whole lot of things that primers do for you, and if you come across a primer that has properties that you need, then you should definitely consider picking it up. So I'm gonna wait for this to just like sit on my face for a little bit, because the stickier the better when it comes to primer. And I'm just gonna grab my foundation. I use the Fit Me in the shade 350. This is in my foundation routine. I will link it down below for you guys, but I'm telling you now that this is gonna be in my affordable makeup video. So yeah, foundation basically, well, depending on your skin, you may need or may completely skip foundation. So foundation basically just evens out your skin if you've got some discoloration, if one part of your face is darker than the other. Foundation is basically there just to like even everything out and give you a nice smooth base and just make your skin look all the right colors. And foundation can sometimes make your skin look healthier than it is, so it's a great thing to pick up if you are a beginner, but you definitely don't need it. If you have nice skin, you can completely skip this step and like conceal spots if you've got like specific spots on your face that need attention. So in my opinion, highlighting and contouring with concealer is not a necessity for a beginner. You can literally just stop here. But I do know that a lot of the time people start wearing makeup to conceal certain imperfections. Like I know a lot of people, even I, have discoloration underneath the eye. So I will go on to show you guys highlighting and contouring, but I do think that it's not a necessity. You don't really need it. But if you find yourself needing it, then I take my concealer underneath the eyes, on the bridge of my nose, my chin, and my forehead. That's where I like to conceal with a concealer that's not very light for my skin. This is the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Toffee. So it's not far away from my skin tone, but it does give me that concealed effect, and it does highlight the slightest bit. I like that, and I know a lot of people like to go a little bit more dramatic when it comes to the highlight, but for me, I don't totally like it. And then I'm just gonna let my concealer sit for a minute, just so I can get as much coverage as I can. I'm gonna go to my brows next. I find that as a beginner, well, when I was a beginner, it was much easier for me to use a pencil instead of like a powder or something that I don't have as much control with. So I'm just gonna go in with a brown brow pencil, and I'm going to outline and fill in my brows. I feel like my concealer has sat long. I'm going to go in with a damp beauty sponge, beauty blender, whichever one you have. I don't think it's necessary to buy a beauty blender. I've never owned one and I am still alive and kicking. So this one I think I got somewhere in Discam. It was on sale. And I've had it ever since. I do want to get the Real Techniques one, but that's just because I want to. It's not because you need a Real Techniques or you need a beauty blender. Any of those ones that are like 50 bucks in Discam are fine. It is so important to get used to blending as a beginner because it's going to be a huge part of what you do as your journey goes on. And don't forget, when you are blending out your concealer, to blend the edges as well. So a good thing to remember when you're a beginner is that if you put anything wet on your face, you want to set it with a powder. Anything at all, from your foundation to your concealer to whatever. And the powder I'm going in with is my vibe, it's my girl, it's my bitch. It's the Black Opal Deluxe Finishing Powder. And you're just gonna take a wedge or that same beauty sponge and dipping it into that finishing powder, making sure there are no creases, and then just make sure that you're setting it down. And you could leave it here. That's called baking, but I do not enjoy baking anymore. It's too much for my dry skin, so I'm gonna go right on in and sweep all of this away. I do know that a lot of people enjoy cream contouring. I'm just not one of those people, so I'm gonna go straight in and powder contour with the Maybelline 370. So contouring just gives you shape. As you can see, my face is pretty flat, and that's because I've only highlighted and I've only put down a base. So I don't have any dimensions, I don't have any shadows on my face, so I'm gonna try and create that using this powder. It's a bit darker than my actual skin. I know a lot of people like to contour with warmer contour shades. I like to do it with cooler ones with a bit more gray, just because a shadow is naturally gray, so it does give the illusion much better. But that's okay, just experiment with products and see what works for you. I'm taking an angled brush and I'm dipping it in here. Angled brushes basically just have that slanting right here, so this goes into your cheeks very, very nicely. I take my powder from the top of my ear basically and I bring it halfway down my cheek. I don't bring it down here, and I blend upwards. I don't blend down because that would give me a beard basically. And then I like to take just a little bit and go into my hairline, just so that I don't have that break from very nice even skin to that weird skin that you don't really get by your hairline and then your hair. So that just helps to just blend everything in, make everything look really nice and natural. I don't do the most with this. I do have a big forehead, but I'm not one of those girls that cares, so I just bring it up here. If you do have a bigger forehead and you do want to whittle it down, you just bring it down a little bit. Bring the color down right here, and then you're creating the illusion of a much shorter forehead. And then just so that I can make this as tidy as possible, I'm gonna go back into that Black Opal and I'm gonna go back into the wedge. I'm gonna concentrate this powder on the ridge parts, the edge, and then I'm gonna use that as basically a tool to slice this contour. So I'm slicing this contour just so that it looks way, way, way cleaner. I take the powder from my ear, from this flap thing of my ear, I don't know what this is called, but I take it all the way from there and then halfway through my cheek. So if you weren't into the idea of highlighting and contouring, then you probably aren't into eyeshadow. But if you did, eyeshadow might be something that you're willing to experiment with. As a beginner, I don't think that it's necessary for you to buy a palette. But if you did highlights and contour, you've got this contour powder shade. You can use this as eyeshadow. So you can just take a fluffy brush and dip it into that shade and just take it into your transition and maybe into your crease. This will just give you some definition over there. Like, you can do this to your crease and then take a little bit of your blush and highlight for your lid. So you really don't, as a beginner, need eyeshadow palettes or whatever. You just need this. Put it all over them and you're done. So I'm gonna set my face, and I'm going to use, I've talked about this on my channel, the fact that I feel like some of the chemicals in setting sprays dry out my face even more. So I just use a mixture of water and glycerin in a spray bottle, and I use that to set my face. The glycerin is sticky enough that it keeps my face on all day, and the water is basically so I am able to spray it out. So I'm just gonna take that sponge that I used to blend out my concealer, and I'm going to use it to press down that setting spray and give my foundation or my base a skin-like finish. I'm then gonna coat my lashes. I honestly don't feel like lashes are a necessity for a beginner. So here's a little tip for you guys. If you go into a store and try to pick out a mascara, if the wand is fat like this, then it's volumizing. It's going to make your eyelashes look thicker. If the wand is skinnier, then it's going to extend your lashes and make them look longer, but it's not going to give them the volume that this type of wand will give it. So depending on what you want for your brows, I just want them to look like they exist. I'm going to use a volumizing mascara, and I'm just going to wiggle it into my eyelashes. So a great tip for you not to mess everything up, because once you mess this up, you've missed. Tilt your head all the way back, look down there, and wiggle. I'm then going to take some highlight, and I apply highlight to the tops of my cheekbones, the bridges of my nose, inner corners, sometimes above the arches of my brows, and sometimes over my chin. I think for a beat this simple, you don't need to do the most with highlight. I just take my finger and I apply this to the top right there. And then, like I said earlier on, you can take just a little bit of highlight and just pat it onto your lids, just so that it looks like, you know, you've got an eyeshadow palette, even if you don't. You can totally stop here, but I just want a little bit more dimension in my eyes. I feel like they're lost. I think looking up is a great way to do this without messing up. So just put your mirror up, look there. You can totally use the brow pencil that you used for your eyebrows to line your lips. I'm just going to take a brown liner, and then I'm going to take my OG, my favorite lip gloss ever in this world, the Essence Shine 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 Wet Look Lip Gloss, and I'm just going to apply that. I'm going to put a lot because I'm extra. And there you have it, you guys. This is my final look for my full face of beginner makeup tips. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do feel like it is the bare basics of what you need. I've got some alternatives in there. I hope you guys learned something from it. And if you guys did enjoy it, please do like the video down below and click subscribe. Our family is growing and I'm loving it, and it's just so I will definitely be working on doing a full face of affordable makeup so I can show you guys actual products that you can go out and get. But yeah, for now, I hope you guys did learn a bit and you guys can figure out something to do with the products you already have. You don't need eyeshadow palettes, you don't really need the highlighting and contouring anyway. But yeah, I'm hoping that the modifications and the tips that I showed you in this video helped you out. And till next time, you guys, I love you, and yeah, bye. Bye guys.